Lamantin Jazz Fesztivál 15 éves. A jazz tábor 10 éves. A hely Szombathely, római kori város. Mára már nemzetközivé nőtte ki magát mind a három. A szervezők elhivatottak, a hangulat remek, a zene kitűnő. Kell ennél több? Igen, kell. Niels Doky, dán jazz zongorista. Meghatározó alakja Európának és a nagyvilágnak. 2 fiatal tanítványával érkezett. Tanítunk, tanulunk, játszunk. Ez a mottója ennek a fesztiválnak.
So, how do you feel in here at the Lamantin Jazz Festival?
Wonderful, really wonderful. It was, the audience was incredible, really warm and responsive and joyful, and I didn't expect it to be that joyful, especially after a whole day of concerts. I understand they've had at least 3 or 4 concerts today, so we were the last ones. We were afraid they were going to be a little tired, after hearing jazz all day, but they were top form. It's really inspiring, as a performer to have a really joyful and responsive audience. It was a great pleasure, really. I'm very happy to be here.
Is it the first time that you are here in Hungary, or you have already been here?
I've already been here once before in Kecskemet, some years ago, but it's the first time in many years, and I'm very happy to be here because one of my dearest friends, Emil Spanyi, is from Hungary, and he's also here tonight, and it's very, very happy to be here, and I hope to come back more often in the future.
And what's your opinion about our country?
Well, I don't know it that much. I do remember both times that I've been here, I've eaten very well, and I've had some very wonderful audiences, and it's just been a very positive experience every time. So I'm hoping to come more and to visit more cities, and I really enjoyed this particular hall. With the wooden stage and the acoustics are very important for me for the kind of music we play. We don't play with much amplification, so the acoustics of the room plays an important role in the success of a concert. And it was very nice here tonight, at least on stage. I hope it was in the audience too. And the piano was very good. So it was just a overall very, very positive experience.
Your first instrument was the guitar.
That's right.
But you switched it. What was the reason of the change?
Well, I saw, I started guitar because my father is a classical guitar player, so it was natural for me to start on that instrument. But I saw when I was about 11, so I was 7 years old when I started the guitar, and when I was about 11, I saw a film in the cinemas called The Sting, a very famous film with Robert Redford and Paul Newman. And the soundtrack of this film was piano music by the late great American ragtime composer Scott Joplin. So I became interested in that kind of music and in the piano. And we had a piano at home, so I started to fool around a little bit on it. And my parents got tired of hearing me just experiment, so they sent me to a teacher to learn it properly. So that's kind of how I switched, And then I gradually discovered jazz from there on, and explore jazz chronologically through the history of jazz.
And you have been in so many countries. What's your impression? Is the jazz music in vogue now?
Yeah, I mean, the great thing about jazz today, which is different than from when I started. When I started many, many years ago, jazz was predominantly an American art form, and it comes from America originally, but all over the world there was this perception that jazz had to be American, played by Americans, and being and very often Black Americans, so being a white European coming to America. I moved to America when I was young. It was a bit challenging, but nowadays jazz is all over the world. You have high-level, world-class musicians in jazz all over the world. So it's really becoming a universal language, and it's great. We can come here from Denmark and play for a Hungarian audience, and we connect on music, and we have the same experience in Japan and Korea and friends. It's wonderful, you know. It's like I read a book some years ago by an Indian yogi who was analyzing the different religions and life philosophies around the world. And when he came to Japan, he was talking about Zen, you know. And then he said, in the West, in the Western world, in Europe and America, they have a way of practicing Zen. That's playing jazz, living in the moment. You know, it's kind of an art form. It's improvised. Everything happens on the spot, in the moment. So it's a form of meditative kind of music for the performers as well as the audience who watch it unfold live, you know, in real time. So I think that's this element of being in the moment and being spontaneously creative. That's part of the reason that it has evolved to become such an international art form. You know, people from any country all over the world have a interest in jazz somehow, which is wonderful.
Yeah, it's true. What are your plans for the future? Will be any special projects?
Yeah, we have a new album coming out with my trio. Tonight was a special tribute to Oscar Peterson. So we did a lot of his repertoire, but normally when we perform mostly my original compositions. And we have a new album coming out this fall called Scandinavian Standards, and it's an album of jazz renditions of famous, iconic songs and themes from Scandinavia, you know, from Finland, Norway, Sweden, and Denmark, our home region. So we're quite excited about that, and it's already recorded. We're very happy with it. So that's our next project. And I also am involved in a big project in Copenhagen that was just announced publicly. I'm opening a jazz club there called The Standard with a friend of mine, Klaus Meyer, who's the founder of a restaurant called Noma, which was voted world's best restaurant for 3 years in a row. So it's very internationally famous restaurant. So him and I are opening a jazz club, which is going to have a jazz club, jazz venue on the first floor, and then it's going to have 3 restaurants and 2 bars in the building. It's just an entire building of music and great food, you know.
It's interesting. And would you like to come back to Hungary and give us such as a fantastic concert as now?
Absolutely, anytime. Just let me know, and I will love to jump on the first flight and come again. And I'm sure my musicians feel the same after tonight. That was their first time. When I first came to Hungary some years ago, it was with a different group I had. My 2 young musicians from Denmark. I think it was their first time, though. They were very, very happy.
Thank you so much. Nice to meet you.
Likewise, thank you. Thank you.